Welcome back, viewers. So today we are having another time of enlightenment, and we have a wonderful topic that you all would love to hear about. Especially if you are in Nigeria at this time, you need to know about stress. You need to know how to manage your stress, because as the day goes by, it seems like we are all being stressed. The country is stressing us. Everything, students, especially, you are being stressed. So stay with me. We have wonderful speakers to talk about stress. They have experienced stress on all kids at all levels, and they can really tell you some wonderful tips to manage stress. So my name is Chigbu, and I'm your host for today's show. And with me I have
Chigbu, Lois,
and
my name is Queeneth, Ndeyi.
Okay, so you're welcome. Viewers, stay with us. So for our first question, we have what is stress, and we'll be starting with our first speaker, Miss Queeneth. Please, can you enlighten us on stress?
Okay, I can say stress is a common human reaction that happens to everybody. So when your body is going through a kind of a change or a challenge, and then there is an emotional or a physical or a mental response, it is called stress. So stress is common. Stress is something that everybody goes through in life, and it could be positive and negative. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Queeneth. So, Miss Lois, do you have anything to say or add to that?
She said stress is common. Everybody should expect it, especially if you're in this country, Nigeria. You should expect stress.
Okay, quick one. Now, you mentioned something about stress being common, and especially for those in Nigeria. Okay, is there like a special kind of stress? Like, is it possible that Nigerians will feel more stress? Like, do you think we are under more stress than every other person in other countries and other parts of the world?
First of all, that's a very sensitive question. Yes, sure. Based on research, and even we that are in Nigeria, we know that Nigeria is a stressed country. So the level of stress we experience in Nigeria, I think, is higher compared to other countries. And the reason basically is because Nigeria is a developing country, while these other foreign ones are already developing. So the stress is.
Okay, thank you very much. So it means for developed country, the stress rate is a bit reduced, while for the developing countries, they experience more stress since they are developing. So can we say stress is good? Because I know the first speaker, Ms. Queen, had said something about stress can be experienced both in a positive and a negative way. So can we say stress is good, or can we say it is bad? So what do you have to say about that?
Okay, first of all, there are two types of stress. We have acute stress and chronic stress. So when you hear acute stress, that comes to mind is within a short period of time. While chronic is something that has accumulated. It could be over the years, over months, and all that. So acute stress is good, but chronic stress, which is accumulated stress, is wrong and could cause damages to our body system. Yeah. So stress can be good and can be bad, just like Ndeyi said in the introduction.
Wow, that's nice. So we have the good stress, the acute stress, which is just for a short time, and then we have the chronic stress, which stays for long. And I think that's the one we are actually advised to stay away from. Okay, can you enlighten us on the causes of stress? Because we hearing stress and hearing that most persons are undergoing stress, especially those in Nigeria. So can we just know those activities that cause stress?
There are so many causes of stress. One of them is financial instability. So let's take, for instance, someone is going through financial crisis, there is no money, and the cost of things are high. And for instance, the person has a family that you need to fend for, children you need to pay school fees for, you need to feed your home, and then there is no money. It also goes a long way to cause financial stress. So the man has a family to feed, he has to pay, and then there is no money, and the cost of things are high. This goes a long way to cause stress. And another thing too could be failure. So let's take, for instance, a student has failed one course or the other. So that's another cause of stress. We have so many causes, even your health and a lot more.
Okay, so since you mentioned something, I said a lot of things cause stress. So I've been thinking, and I would love to know, can relationship, all this breakup we hear of every time, does it also cause stress? Like, can we say these people, they can lead to stress? Like, can they, because of relationship, maybe they had a breakup or something like that, can we say they are stressed, or can they experience stress due to that?
Of course, a breakup is it's more like a change. Just as we defined what stress is, stress is a normal change that occurs in the body or a challenge when the body goes through any form of challenge. So a breakup is a change. So it's more like a change in the situation of things. So it also goes a long way to cause stress.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Queeneth. Though I don't know if Miss Lois have anything to say about that.
Yes, I'm in support of what she just said. So, we have what we call emotional stress. And most times, this kind of stress is due to emotions. Normally, our emotions have expectations, and when they are not met, it can lead to stress.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Lois. Okay, now let me just give you a question. I think we have one here, and would like you to just take this based on this relationship stress. So, what do you think if someone is going through stress? Now, moving to stress management, because that's why we are actually here, so they can actually learn. Because I know, looking at our viewers, we have more of the young persons, more youths, and we would love them to know how they can manage stress. Now we know we have financial stress, we have a lot. So people have different expectations, especially even after this election and everything that played out, people having expectations. So now, what do we now have to say about stress management? What is stress management, and how do we think we can manage this stress we are seeing in our everyday activities? Miss Lice.
Okay, what is stress management? Stress management are practices, they are techniques that you have to get involved in to ease yourself from stress. Stress is something that we cannot avoid. Even the most wealthiest person experience stress. It's just that it might not be chronic compared to someone that has to struggle so much to earn an income. So, stress management are those techniques, those practices that you can involve yourself in to ease stress. And then basically, we have three.
Okay, stress management. I know we have heard a lot about stress and how our activities affect us, how we react to stress. So now we want to dive into stress management, and we love our speakers here to really tell us what stress management is, and how we can manage stress, activities that we can engage in to manage the stress. So let's start with you, Miss Lois.
Okay, thank you very much. Um, we have several techniques that are involved when it comes to stress management. But first of all, stress management are those practices that you can carry out. Sometimes they are prescribed by a medical personnel, and it's not so bad as an individual to have an idea on how to ease yourself stress, especially when it does not really need a medical attention. So basically, we just have three, and out of those three, we have several other sub techniques involved. And one of them is what we call the self care practices. These are practices that we carry out when we are stressed. And one of them involve having a little hangout with your family members, your friends. We have this circle of persons around us that light up the moments when we are down. So you sit out with them, you talk about your day, your activities, and you get ease of that stress. Another one is relaxation technique. That's another branch of self-management technique. You get to relax, and under that relaxation technique, we have what we call the mindful breathing or deep breathing. And sometimes you can be stressed even in your workplace. Like I do it sometimes. You just take a deep breath. There's that mindful and deep breathing. Now you just sit down, you take a deep breath, and sometimes you count in fours. So an example is just this. I'm going to illustrate. I'm stressed now, and I have a task to complete. I just don't know what to do. But sometimes you don't. It's not good to procrastinate and all those things. So you just take a pause, You hold your breath for 4 seconds. So let me just practice. Count 1, 2, 3, 4. You release. While you're releasing,
Wow.
you count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you keep repeating until you find out that your ease. I guess while you just did that, you experienced something.
Yeah.
So
That was a good one, Miss Lois. Sorry for cutting you. You know, doing something like this is I don't know that something like this can ease us stress. You know, while we're here and doing that, I just felt ease. So, and I trust Miss Queeneth too.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
that was a good one. So, yes, you can continue with the other techniques.
Okay, aside that, we also have muscle relaxation techniques. Sometimes our body systems react to this stress, including especially our muscles. So these relaxation techniques help you ease your joints, your bones, and all that. So one of them is trying to stretch your toes. Your toes get tensed up sometimes while you're stressed. When you sit down for a very long time, typing your computer, you have so many things to do. So you try to stretch those muscles at the toes, and you can use your hands to press them. The nerves have a connection with our general well-being. So those nerves attached to our toe regions become relaxed. So another technique there is also part of relaxation technique, and it's known as imagery guided imagery rather, and then we also have visualization. Both of them are similar. The only difference is that in guided imagery, you have an audio that plays, you listen to it. Now that audio, the content of the audio is somebody trying to explain something that could ease you of stress. Someone can be explaining you going to a beach, so you can just hear the audio telling you, just imagine yourself going to the beach, the cool breeze, the atmosphere, the water, everything. You just see yourself imagining it. So while you're there, you just try to pay attention to those details, and you're just hearing the audio, but in your senses, it's like you are there. So that's what guided imagery do to ease us of stress. And then the third one is what we call mindfulness exercises, which is just being conscious of where you find yourself, being conscious of the fact that you are stressed, and then trying to ease it.
That's a nice one. Thank you very much, Miss Lois. Thank you. Oh, that was really quite elaborate. 3 stress management techniques, and I hope you've learned something. Also, if you have not subscribed to our channel, do it to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button and click the notification so you are always updated. You get notified on all our content. So, Miss Queeneth, do you have any other thing to add to this based on the activities that help us ease stress management activities?
So when I gave an earlier definition of stress, I made mention that it's an emotional, a mental, or a physical change or a challenge that happens to the body. So I'm going to be throwing more light on the mental aspect of stress. I remember there during the election period, I was hearing so many news talk about Tinubu, Buhari, and a whole lot. And we see in our time, social media is one tool that goes a long way to spread different kind of informations, and then people are overwhelmed by what they see online. So what I did then was to take a break. For some days, I decided to stay offline. And at times too, when I see some people, because there are some negative persons that we see on social media, so what I do is to either block them or mute them for the time being. So it's very important that we note these things that goes a long way to affect us and imbibe the techniques that would help us. So staying off social media is one technique you can use to help yourself off mental stress. And those people that say that they are being depressed, most times because of the information they feed themselves with on social media. So what their eyes see, what their minds interpret, what people say. So if you need to curb the time you spend online, the things you do, your activities, it's very, very important. So that's one technique you can use to control stress. And another thing, there are some situations that are beyond your control. There are some things that basically you can't do anything to help it. So let's say, for instance, something happens in the house at a particular time, and then you can't change that situation. Let me give a very simple example that we usually give as a proverb, that you're crying over a spilled milk. So the milk pours on the floor. It's not as though you can do anything about the situation, but then you want to get overwhelmed. You keep thinking about it and all that. And the human mind most times is wired to think and overthink about certain situations. So it's very important that you control the things that comes into your mind, and you control how much you think about a particular situation. So when you take an inventory of the things that are happening around you and you see that you can't change this situation, you can't change it no matter what happens, you let go of it and then channel your energy into things that will be more productive. So let's take for instance you have a particular task at hand and you're so overwhelmed on how to finish up, and maybe you've tried out so many methods of trying to accomplish that certain task. You can decide to take a break and maybe go on YouTube and look for maybe a 5 minutes video or something that you just do to catch your breath. So Miss Lois has taught us a technique on how to hold our breath for 4 seconds or thereabouts. It also goes a long way to help. So these are things that you can do to ease yourself of the stress. So whenever you notice that your body is going through stress, don't try to keep up with that particular task, because you're going to break down eventually and you may not be able to finish up what you have. So take time, take a break, see a movie, take a walk, and just do things to ease off the stress. Thank you.
And then just to add to what she has said, I remember I was talking with a colleague yesterday. We were supposed to have a presentation, a report somewhere. So he worked almost throughout the day. And then at night, he was trying to work on the report. And I was like, have you rested today at all? He said he's stressed though, he has not rested. I said, okay, why don't you just take a break? Just like you said, just pause. He said that social media has a way of easing him from stress. I was like, how? I can just be viewing people's status, replying chats, and I actually felt it's not right. I think social media has a way of, just like she said, has a way of increasing stress. When you're stressed and you say you want to just respond to messages, you want to look at people's status, these things are stressing your nerves. First of all, your eyes get signals, and the nerves from your eyes are becoming stressed, especially at the middle of the night. Sorry, at the middle of the night, where those eyes are supposed to be resting, your body system is already down, and you're opening your eyes, you're looking at the light that is coming from your phone, and that respond. Even when you're viewing statuses, your mind processes the information. All those things they are contributing to them. So sometimes just switch off your phone, switch it off, and take a short nap, and then you can continue. Thank you.
Okay, viewers, thank you very much, Miss Lloyd, and thank you very much, Miss Queeneth, for that exposition. So, viewers, you have heard a lot. You know, I got some things and some major things that striked. Maybe just strike some chords, and then I just said, let's talk on them again. Now, in the aspect of people viewing status and then saying they want to, what if some people say they use comedy, they use skits to relax. Though I know different people are wired for different things. So you say it increases stress. Do you mean if we are stressed, that's primarily all stress we go off when we take a nap? Because saying you should just take a little nap and then go off stress. What of if I'm wired to just, when I see funny things and then I just feel at ease and then I relax. So what do you have to say about that?
Okay. First of all, the instance I gave, sorry, it's something that actually happened. It was at the night.
Okay.
Even the Bible says, the Lord gets his beloved one. And night is for resting. That point in time, you're not supposed to be feeding your eyes with. It's not like going on social media is totally wrong. I'm talking about the health implications. Your eyes, first of all, the nerves that receive those pulses. I don't know if you understand my point.
Yes.
So at that point in time, it's not supposed to. And let's talk about the status you do. There are different contents. It's not like you're watching one person's status. You can watch this person's status. This person is telling you that in Lagos, Boko Haram just bombed one shop. Oh, right now they're in Port Harcourt. You finish watching that one. The next status, you're seeing a comedian. You just, those things they will distract you. So it's different from when you're trying to watch a full comedy. We know it's purely joke, so you just laugh at it. But status have different contents, and so it's not really straightforward to ease you from that stress. I don't know if you understand.
Thank you very much, Miss Lois. I just love I love this part you are delving into. So now viewers, if you are actually listening, you will have gotten a lot of things. You have gained a lot. Now they're not saying you should not go on social media and watch statuses, view skit and the rest. But there is a level of stress your body accumulates that if you try to even watch skit, do things, now because your brain is still going to process those things, it's now more like you stressing yourself again. So while you're trying to kill stress, you're adding to it. So I think that's it. So now, just to get some practical scenarios, I would like to start with Miss Queeneth. Have you ever been stressed, and then how did you react to stress? Now, before you answer that, I just thought of something. What are those people that cry? Is there a way crying help to ease stress? Like crying, some people they say they are stressed and then they just start crying. You see it on social media. Somebody just do a video, maybe just why you saying I've been stressed, and then you just see them cry and they tell you that why they cry, they feel at ease. So does crying actually help us ease ourselves from stress? And what do you have to say about that?
Yes, crying goes a long way to help ease someone from stress. I think there's a medical term they call it, that when you release those tears, I think it's a hormone or theory, I'm not very familiar with it. But crying goes a long way to relieve you of stress. So I can give an instance of, there was a period when I was so overburdened, like I had a lot of things on my mind, and I was feeling this kind of a pain in my body. So, and that was as a result of things that, like, external forces that were happening around me at that time. So there was just this day I just got so overwhelmed, I sat on the floor and I started crying. I noticed that when I was done, I just had this strength and stamina, and that pain kind of left. It's just as though you're having a heavy load on your shoulder and then you drop it. So you're relieved of that pain. So most times crying can go a long way to help. So we see people that maybe they are bereaved, that just lost a loved one, and they are so pained. There are some persons that they want to, I'm a strong person, let me not cry on this, and then they still have this pain in their hearts. But it comes to a point where they are allowed to let go of the tears and cry out their hearts. And that's why one other technique that is very important, when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're feeling so stressed and it's as though nothing is happening and you can't, maybe you've tried every other technique and it's not working, talk to somebody. So while you're pouring your heart out to someone, even though the person doesn't have a solution to it, it goes a long way to relieve that pain, that burden, that stress that you are feeling. So talking to someone actually goes a long way. You can also seek a counselor if it's something that is so much, so weighty that maybe people around you cannot help out. You can look for a professional counselor that can maybe give you tips and help you through that situation. Let's take, for instance, a heartbreak. So there are some people that they've gone through a heartbreak and it's so traumatic, they start feeling depressed, some they want to commit suicide and all that. So talking to a counselor will go a long way to help. So there are some professional tips that can also help. And medically as well, people go through stress due to their health, one issue or the other, and most times as a result of the things that they eat. Some persons, they eat a lot of stuff that are not healthy for their bodies. So just as we see in our time today, people taking groceries early in the morning and floating berries and all that, we can say the economy is very bad. Nigeria, the state of things are so poor. You shouldn't make it a habit that even when you have like a little finance to help yourself, you can take fruits, you can take things that are healthy. For instance, myself, I had to discipline myself to stop taking soda this month, so I had to just cut off of it. So there are some things that have, so there are some food we take that has some certain implications to our body, and that can increase the stress. So some health conditions, let's give instance of high blood pressure, hypertension, and all that. There are some things the doctor will say that you should not eat to be able to curb that situation. But some people, maybe due to maybe lack of discipline, or maybe they don't have so much, they still fall back to those things like junks and all that would worsen their situation. So these health issues also goes a long way to increase the stress level. So there are so many things that you can do to help yourself. Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Miss Queeneth. Okay, now looking at the aspect of the country and everything. Now, there's a statement our president made. He said, "Let the poor breathe." So I think from that statement, can we deduce that the poor are actually undergoing more stress? Looking at financial problem, the turn here. So I think that statement he made, "Let the poor breathe," is actually a good statement, because I was hearing they are turning into a law and they said, "Let the poor breathe."
Yeah.
So I think viewers, let the poor breathe. Let the stress breathe. So that Miss Lois strategy on letting out stress, I think that is actually valid. Letting out the stress by taking a lot of breath, and I think that's what the poor and the stress they need to do now. Just take in the breath and let the poor breathe. Okay, so viewers, if you are watching us, you can use the comment section, drop your own activities you do to let off stress, to ease stress. Just tell us, share with us. We would love to know those your activities you do. If it is crying, our speaker here said crying too can help. So please cry. Let the crying people cry. Please, you can cry too. And if it's to breathe, please breathe. Okay, Ms. Lois, can you just share with us maybe some personal experiences? How did you manage stress when you were stressed in one time?
Trying to remember, not like I don't go through stress, but I'm trying to look forward, very serious stress. Okay, just this week. This weekend I had a lot of activities piled up. I'm somebody that work with priority. So I think I need to talk about it. It will really help you a lot. If you are here and there and there and here, you will see that you try to give a lot of things your energy, and at the end you won't yield any results. You can't eat from here, eat from here, eat from here, and then tend to grow like that. Especially as youths that we are at this certain stage of our life, you should know what you have to work with, know organizations you're supposed to work with, things you're supposed to do to build yourself and everything. So you don't just receive a random call from anybody, "Hey, we need you here," and then you're stressed, you have things to do, just leave it and you are there just because you want to be there. So you have to live a defined life. It also has a way of easing you from future stresses. Let me just say that. So I had a lot of things, so I can't even start mentioning them. So the first thing I did was to work on my priorities. I made a list. This is what I'm going to do today. I had to put asterisks on the one I won't be achieving for that day and all that. So by the time I came back, that was yesterday, I was so stressed. I was watching a YouTube skit 3 days ago, and someone was talking about the 3 kinds of persons we have. Like 3 kinds of persons that, how do I put it? 3 different kinds of reactions we have towards stress. Okay, that video was just basically talking about somebody came back from work, dropped his bag, and then just ran to the kitchen to eat. That was the first category of person. Another person just came back, started arranging his things, and then the third person just came back and straight to the bed, depending on how stressed out that you are. I think what I did yesterday was that third person's category. I came back, I don't even want to hear welcome. Don't even tell me, because at this point in time I'm seeing double. I'm not seeing well. So I just came back, dropped my bag with my clothes. So I had so many calls coming in. Even when I called, I picked up one because this was like, "Why you sound like somebody that wants to die?" Why you sound like somebody that wants to die? I don't pick calls when I'm stressed and I'm trying to ease myself off from it. So when I'm sleeping, not coming by that time, I'm not even going to pick up. Although when it's persistent, I can respond to it. So I just lay down on the bed and then got myself up this morning. So I slept for more than 12 hours. So that's one. I slept. This one is not rest. I slept and I woke up this morning healthy and strong. So that's one.
Wow. Thank you very much, Miss Lois. Wow. So that kind of long sleep, when you don't want to hear anybody, just the bed. So it can also help. It helps to ease the stress. Some long sleep. Most time we have this short sleep because their minds are wandering. They are thinking of money. While you are sleeping, people are thinking of money.
They are sleeping and awake.
Yeah, and then our motivational speakers, they are actually not helping matter. When they tell you multitask, people are forced to give up their sleep just so that they can multitask. And then you see videos like they tell you poor men don't sleep.
You don't sleep more than 5 hours.
Yeah, those kind of things. So it puts pressure, especially on the young people. Young people, we have this zeal, we have this passion, we want to do everything. So today you hear this motivational speaker tell you to get 7 streams of income, and you start looking at 7 things to do at the same time. You get everything. They want to just try it, and at a point the stress is so much until they break down. There's a way your body takes this stress and then it just shuts down. So I think Miss Lois here, her pattern will work. So once you are very stressed, please just shut down. Turn off your phone if possible. Just sleep. Let the poor breathe. Let the stress sleep. Let them breathe. You get to let's allow them. Don't suffocate them. And so viewers, you can also drop your comments. We would love to hear from you. Your activities you do to ease off stress.
And also, in addition to what she said, talking about prioritizing, as young people, we are trying to build skills, we are trying to build expertise, we are trying to build capacity in so many things. As some of us, we have so many passion and things that we want to do.
Yes.
So, we are caught in this web of wanting to do so many things at the same time. So you have to learn how to prioritize, know what you want to achieve. Let's say the next 5 to 10 years. Where do you see yourself? So you need to channel your energy to those things that would help you after now. Because it's not enough for you to be so involved in so many things. And on the long run, you're not building capacity in light of what you want to achieve. So something happened, I think that was last month. Someone went to my profile and then reached out to me that he wants me to head a team in Port Harcourt for a particular program that they were organizing, something like a program manager. So, and this thing fits into what I'm passionate about, my skills and abilities. So it was a very nice offer. Like, it was so enticing. I was okay. So, but when he was speaking, I had to check the other things I'm involved in, and I saw that this is not going to fit in because I'm just trying to cut down on other activities, and this one is coming up. So at that point, I was just telling myself that I'm not going to be carried away by this thing he's saying. I'm not going to be carried away by the fact that maybe we'll have a relationship or something. I will have to learn how to say no without feeling guilty about it. So it doesn't matter where you're coming from. I have to check, okay, what are those things I can do at this point? Because definitely you might do them later on, but at a particular time, you have to check the things that you can do. So you don't get yourself so worked up and then break down all of a sudden. So at that day, I had to just send him a text. Oh, I'm so sorry. I have so much to do at hand. I won't be able to take up this offer. And that was it. So we have to learn, as young people, we have to learn how to prioritize, learn how to say no to offers that you know would stretch you beyond your limits. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I would like to react to something. Talking about our motivational speakers telling you they sleep for 5 hours a day. It's not like they are telling like you. If you check them properly, they rest. You get, there's a difference between rest and sleep. Now they will not come on social media to tell you that I rest in between work hours, I rest after completing one task. What they will just tell you is the summary. I don't sleep for more than this. So sleep is different from rest. I'm saying this because I can't research on something. I know they want to make it public. So they tell us things, and yes, they are saying it to motivate us, but don't, because you're hearing that Elon Musk is telling you that he does before, you want to become like him, he's your mentor. So you start telling yourself, I will sleep for only 2 hours. If Elon Musk is sleeping less than 5, now sleep less than 2. You start doing, understand yourself and try to have rest in between them. So they might not tell you that they rest, just say sleep and then.
Wow. Thank you very much, Miss Lois and Miss Queeneth. So viewers, I know some of us are very zealous, and there's every information we get, we want to just try it out. So please, there's room to rest. There's room for sleeping, take a good nap, take good rest, and then Miss Queeneth here have told us prioritize. You must learn how to prioritize things and then take off the unnecessary activities. So sometimes there are activities you do just because of want to just do it, want to be everywhere. You see that the stress piles up, and this is just the only body we have, and once the body is gone, we are gone. So I think we need to prioritize self-care, prioritize activities that fits your personality, your goal, your dream, and then you can cut down on other excesses. Okay, so as we conclude, I would just like my speaker said to just tell us one or two things as we conclude, maybe an advice or maybe a statement for the viewers. So we can start with you, Ms. Queeneth.
Advise young people to learn how to take break from social media. So you're not spending the whole day online. And then even medically, it's advised that you don't be with your phone at least an hour before you go to bed. So you should be off your screen because it goes a long way to affect the quality of sleep that we have. So at times you can decide to sleep for 8 hours, but in real sense, it's not up to 8 hours because maybe the few hours to that time your mind was still working, and that's basically because of the things that you've seen on your phone. So an hour before you sleep, stay off your phone, and as much as possible, learn how to take break from social media. And then there's something I used to tell people: the block button, the mute button on WhatsApp, it doesn't bite. So if you discover that there's somebody on your WhatsApp status that's always posting negative things that's causing you stress, you can mute the person. On Facebook, there are things that one negative, because there are some people that are always fond of posting negative news. It's just negatives that they are all into. You can decide to block them for the sake of your mental health. So that's one thing I would also advise people. And secondly, you should learn how to leverage on other things. So let's say you have a particular task you want to do, so many tasks you want to do at the same time. You can look out for things that will make that task easier for you. So we have so many tools, we have so many things that will make our work easier, our life easier as a whole. So we are seeing AI tools and all that. So let's say for instance you're someone that is working in a particular office and you need to deliver some certain tasks. You can make use of those tools or leverage on the knowledge of others. So you're not trying to do everything all by yourself. You can ask for help as well. Whenever you feel tired and overwhelmed, ask for help. Somebody told me this thing some weeks ago, and it has gone a long way to help me in reducing stress. So most times we feel that some persons might not want to, because I was giving that excuse that what if this person says no? What if this person doesn't agree? Make sure you take the first step of asking for help. So there's somebody that might help you in doing that, in achieving that particular task that you want to achieve. So it is very, very important that we curtail the things that would go a long way to increase stress for us to be able to achieve more and for higher productivity. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Queeneth. So, Ms. Lois, as conclusion, can you just share with us one or two helpful tips to manage stress?
Okay, thank you. So in conclusion, stress is inevitable. You can't run away from it. You can't hide from it. In fact, as long as you're purposeful in this life, you should expect stress. And so I think Ebit Media has done a very good job putting on this talk show so that it could enlighten us out there, especially youths. You want to make it by all means. Some persons is because they can't even handle stress that they get into illicit activities. You hear about young boys going into Yahoo. They just want easy things to be done, get into quick schemes and all that. So you have to learn how to manage stress, and especially because you have a generation you want to tell into something. Stress is that one of the reasons why you get interested in celebrity talk shows and all that is because they have been able to overcome certain things at their beginning levels. And if you don't have that experience, you don't have that potential to overcome these things, you don't have any story to tell them. So expect stress, work on it, and try to manage it. And then I want to conclude by saying that don't overwork yourself. We've talked about prioritizing. If you work so hard, you might not live to enjoy the fruit of your labor. So while you're working, work wisely, calculate, learn how to wake up in the morning, pray to God, get your to-do notes, very important. If you don't have a note for it, you can use the app on your phone. I believe every smartphone comes with that app, To-Do. It's there, check on your phone. If you have not seen it before, you can check it now and then you'll see it. You tap on it, you can set reminders, work on them, then give yourself deadlines. Tell yourself, I have this task to do. I'll work on it between 12 to 1 p.m. After this, I'll move on to the next. These are things that will really help you. So when you have a to-do list, you know what to work on that particular day so that the load will not be so much on you. So try not to work too hard so you will live to enjoy the fruit of your labor. And then Queeneth was also talking about reaching out to people. There's nothing sweeter than having a powerful relationship with persons. Who are the persons in your circle? in as much as you have friends, also have people that have the same passion as you. Let me say, for example, I'm into graphic designs. I have graphic design friends, and so I can get jobs. I can't turn down a job offer coming from a client. A client can tell me, please design this thing for me, I need it tomorrow. You don't need to start blaming your client and say, you're the one that you just say, am I a machine? Why are you sending this thing to me now? I just talking to you. No, you don't do that. You have to act smartly. We are in a generation of smartness. We are talking about generation Z and everything. So you reach out to your friends in that skill set. So you can talk to John, hey John, please can you help me work? And before you know it, your work is done and get your money. But when you don't have relationship with people, you don't have quality friends that can stand in for you at any time you are stressed, you end up even destroying what you've been trying to build. So work hard, don't overstress yourself so you can live to enjoy the fruit of your labors. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Miss Queeneth. Thank you, Miss Lois. This was a wonderful time with you guys. And for me, I've been wild and I've caught a lot, I've learned a lot. And I know my viewers here, they have learned a lot too. So don't overstress. And see that word Miss Lois used, don't work too hard so you can live long to enjoy the fruit of your labor. If you work too hard and die while working, we'll share your property, we'll share everything. And with our Nigerian culture, your village people, your siblings, your next of kin, they will just take, and then we will see some other time if we ever see, except on the resurrection money. So don't overstress yourself. That's all we are trying to say. Maintain good health, maintain your body, and listen to these things. Do it to share. You have that friend that's always stressing himself, especially students. I know there's this culture we as students we imbibe most times. Students have this culture of not doing something they're supposed to do. Especially reading, they just leave it till the exam night, and then they tell you that their brain works with deadline, and you just start cramming everything. So please, it's good to plan yourself. Have a time frame. Try to do those things in bits, like as our speakers have said. Everything that will cause stress to you, just try to reduce on it, and you see that you will live long, you will live healthy, and you will enjoy everything. The fruit of your labor, even the knowledge, you will enjoy it. So thank you for watching. Do it to subscribe, share, and click the notification button to always get notified with our contents. See you next time. Bye.